everyone. Chidi here. Yeah, I'm still talking about the Take It Back movement. That's what's on board. I'm still talking about the governorship race in Enugu State. But first of all, today I want you all to know that I spoke to a couple of youths yesterday precisely. We spoke till 4 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, because of the time difference, I just had to stay awake to talk with a couple of youths back home. Yeah, some students in Nigerian universities. Johnny Humweze, thank you so much for coming. John, you have not even called me so that we can talk. You know that I'm waiting for you to call me. Okay, sorry, it's the other way around. I'm supposed to call you. Sorry, Chief John. I'm gonna call you because you know waiting day. Okay? Robert Chizavan Dibe. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for signing in. Thank you so much, sir. Alright, so today I want to talk about the great disconnect between myself and people like me and the Nigerian youth. There's a great disconnect. Like I said, I was talking with some university students yesterday night, up into the early hours of the morning, up to 4 a.m. precisely. And I was telling them about so many things, you know, like we were talking about how to make Enugu State better. As you all know, the Take It Back movement, I belong with the Take It Back movement. So I was talking with them and I was telling them what used to be. I was trying to let them reason with me so that we can start this debate about whether they like the position they find themselves right now, whether they think there is need to improve things, or have a total overhaul of the system. So I was asking one of the students, we were talking about how things used to be and how it has greatly changed. And when I asked them about Epo Refectory in their school, the girl was like, what are you talking about? Epo Refectory is still existing. And I said, what do they do in Epo Refectory? And she's like, in Epo Refectory, they use the place for meetings, they use the place for registration and stuff like that. And I asked her, what is the name of the place again? She said Epo Ref. I said, what's the meaning of the ref in Epo Ref? And she goes, oh my God, you're right, it means refectory. And I said, yes, now we are talking. That place used to be a school refectory. And do you know how it used to be run? I told her in the school refectory, you bought your food voucher. And with your food voucher, you walked into the refectory and you were served. You were served a quarter chicken. You know when they bring a whole chicken and they cut it into 4, you got one part of that chicken in the school ref with a little token. In fact, you bought your refectory, whatever. You bought it at the beginning of the term, and it lasted you till the end of the term. You don't worry about eating. And when I was telling her, she was really shocked because some of these things no longer make sense to them. If we're telling them how school used to be, the kind of services that was obtainable within the school, how much school fees was, or when there was no school fees at all, they don't connect with it. So it is this huge disconnect that is worrying me. So a lot of youths are saying, why are you bothering yourself? Why are you? When I tell them how you used to go to school and you will go through your years of study without one strike, without any kind of disruption in your studies. It does not make sense. It does not connect. When I'm telling them how the roads used to be, when I'm telling them who and who used to be in the area where they live now, and how many people have left the shores of the country for greener pastures abroad, for some of them, it does not make sense. You know why? Because this thing started a very long time ago, that a lot of the people that we're talking to right now, we are not born when this thing started. In fact, it has spanned through a generation that now does not even have a hint. This generation does not have a hint about what you're talking about. Jude, Chisom, Erondu. I know you're still rounding up with your studies, Jude, but we need you right now. This is the time that we need you. You know what I'm talking about. You're a youth. Your exposure makes you understand what I'm talking about. It is so pathetic and so sad that some youth will call me and say, why am I even trying to contest for governorship? Can't I just go and sit down instead of, coming to express my intentions? And I asked them, why do you think I shouldn't do so? And guess what? They don't have any reason. They don't have any excuse. This is just what they've been used to. Some of them are not used to active and fair politics. They're just used to arrangements, because right from when they were born, they met a government that was in power, and everything was arranged and arranged and arranged. Governors were arranged, senators were arranged, their local government chairmen were arranged, councillors were arranged. There was no need for you to go for election. So they were never even interested in elections. A huge percentage of youths in Nigeria don't have their PVC card. They never had their PVC card because there was no use. I mean, why bother to go and vote when a party already decided who was going to win, and the party controlled everything? And so whenever they decide who was going to run as the candidate for the party, you knew they were going to be the elected candidate. So it was useless. It was like a one-party state. And when these people are given opportunities to perform, a lot of times they underperform. A lot of people have performed and records are there to show for it. But because of the underperformance of a lot of our leaders, the youth have lost absolute confidence in the system. And so they've had to just sit down, and years and years and years later, there was another recycling of the same old people, and there was nothing they could do. Sometimes they rioted in the schools, sometimes one or two resistances popped up here and there, but all that was crushed, and we went back to status quo. And so for a long time, these youths were just existing, just participating in politics and leadership very, very passively. And so it's gotten to the point now that they don't even think that everything is so warped. What they've come to accept as the norm, what they've come to accept as what should be, is totally, absolutely wrong. Youths don't believe that there is provision in the Constitution for them to run for elective posts. But they forget that when they finish school, they go and apply for jobs. When they apply for these jobs, they go there confidently, believing that they possess what it takes to get that job. They apply for very high management positions because they come out very prepared to face the world. But the same youth, you're telling them about politics, about leadership, about serving, about working for the country, for the state, for the local government, and they tell you no. Why? Because through the years, they've been made to believe that politics and leadership is reserved for a few people. This has really dealt a heavy blow on our youth population, on our young ones. They forget that the more they sit down and allow people who have been recycled, people who are in their 60s or 70s, by the time they relinquish power out of necessity, maybe of health, by the time they get to the point where they can no longer go on, the youth that was sitting there and waiting for them, you will be close to 60 years too. Because this person will be leaving politics at 80 years. Now that you're 30-something years, now that you're 40-something years, this is the time that you need to step up and take it back from the ones who know they should be retired by now, but who have held on to this power. Of course, they're tired. Of course, they've run out of ideas. Of course, they don't know what time it is. But just because of their selfish ambition, they hold strongly to power, and they don't let you get the chance to determine your future. You want to tell me that looking at yourself today, you don't know what you want? Hell no, I think you know what you want. I think you know what you want. Judging by what the Nigerian youth is able to do for themselves, judging by what young people, because this is the age bracket when people are at the prime of their lives. How can you be at the prime of your life and you are not participating in determining your future? How can? This is when your blood is hot. This is when you are in tune with the latest technology. This is when you are not afraid to dream. And you're sitting down and watching someone who has spent their lives deciding your future while you just sit down there. You know you're dying in silence. You know that there's a lot that you have to say. You know that there's so much that is not working out. But you just are comfortable sitting down and doing nothing. That is amazing to me. And that is totally unacceptable as far as I'm concerned. And so once again, this disconnect that exists in our with our Nigerian youth, with the young people now, is a huge worry to me. And I hope we're able to address this issue. I hope that with time, we'll be able to talk to our youth and our young people and let them understand what has been taken away from them. Let them understand that there's been a rape on what belongs to them. Let them understand that some people have taken what is their birthright, sat down on it, and gives them peanuts from time to time. I don't think you should accept it. Adana, thank you so much for coming to listen to what I have to say. Ebere and Kwanta, thank you so much. Chidi Ugu, thank you so much. Thank you, Vivian Emesaronye Dimba. Thank you, Chidi Ebere and Wokulture. Thank you, Taiwo Olatunde Benga, Eric Moore, Engineer Eric Moore. Thank you so much for coming on. Jude, we need to connect. We need to talk. There's a lot of work to be done. Thank you for tuning in. Aqua. Thank you, Valentine. Onwa Manam. Thank you so much, Roseline Ezike. Thank you, my sister. Stephen Ashi, Chukwemeka, Grace. Hey, Grace, how are you? Honorable Felix Chinyo, Uchenna Obona, Robert Chizoban Dibe, John Ihunweze. Thank you everybody for coming on the broadcast. Once again, thank you so much. I'm gonna keep doing these videos. Today I have a meeting with Enugu State community here, stakeholders in our community. I have a meeting with them about 6 p.m. so that we can brainstorm about how to move Enugu State forward. For all of us here in the diaspora, we are really passionate about changing things back home. I'll be in Nigeria in a very short while to take this message down to the grassroots, and I'm going to need all your support. I'm going to need all the brainstorming so that we can get things going. Once again, thank you so much for being part of this broadcast. Bye-bye.